Little old me, Uncle Jeff, delivering yet another sermon. No, we're continuing to talk about what my message is. As a cosmic messenger, exactly what the hell is my message? That's what we're trying to figure out as we move through this. This will be the last one in that series, by the way, and then there'll be more as we go along. But these will be 4 main ones. That's good, you know. About time I tried to figure that out. It's not easy to know what it's coming through you and then what you've absorbed from others. But it's all one big happy family these days, and it's a big free-for-all. And it's a little bit of everything, truly is. So anyway, good morning, Jeff Africa, Jeff Africa's Last Dance, the channel where we're making it from the head to the heart, becoming and living and seeing and thinking and treating others and exercising and writing and playing music through that heart chakra. Okay, we're enlivening the heart chakra, dropping down from our head into that heart and becoming that heart chakra, making true the wonder and magnificence of this universe through that heart awareness where it all really is, not really so much in our heads. And our heads are going to take the second position. Okay, they can be second in this alignment. Okay, remember what I told you. I am who I am. I am good enough as I am. I am loved for who I am. That mantra practiced in the morning when you get up. Don't reach for the devices. Okay, you got more important things to do. That mantra, as you put your hands on your heart and you try to, as much as you can, in that tender period in the morning when you're not so situated in the mind, you're not so stayed in the mind, that's a good time to do some of these things you've practiced and I've told you I've done. As far as getting that head slipping down into that heart and resting in the nest of the allowance and the acceptance and the warmth and the love and the comfortness of the heart, as opposed to that cold, sort of painful mental mind area that you experience getting up early in the morning. We all experienced that. This morning, I had a kind of a terrible time. Interesting story. I don't have time. Maybe I'll tell it to you about it, but it was an interesting story. I woke up feeling like death, which I shouldn't be doing anymore, for God's sake. But there it was. Okay, so that mantra is going to help. We were talking about the persona, the developed persona we present to the world. That mantra is going to dissolve that persona, begin to etch it away, begin to work on it, because you're getting into your subconscious mind. Hey, look at, I am who I am. I am good enough just as I am, and I am loved for who I am. You're going to get that in your subconscious mind, and the reason for developing persona is going to start to fall away as we increase that heart resonance. That heart vibration and frequency, it's going to, I was telling you before how the heart starts to inform you as you mentally do the gyrations you normally do during the day. The heart is going to inform you that it's no longer yours to do anymore. That persona is no longer yours to do anymore. That heart resonance plus in the subconscious mind, getting that mantra in there is going to start dissolving that persona. It's not only the chosen persona. I explained to you how I had a chef persona for a while. That was a conscious sort of adjustment in this as we move through and play these different roles. But anytime you're in a celebrity situation, whether you're an adorer of celebrities or a celebrity yourself, or in a competitive mode of this society, how we compete for every blessed thing in the world. We don't only compete competitively in sports. We compete about everything, about status and prestige and superiority. All these games we play. You've developed a persona. You've the social illusion complex. Whenever you're have become and expressing the social illusion complex, you have developed a false persona. Okay, so it can be all things subtle and gross, this persona. We do these other heart practices so it begins to inform us. We become more of our heart and less of our desire to become a persona, less of our involvement in the 3D illusion complex, all right, as we develop this heart. On our deathbed, most people at that point, before they pass over, come to a point where they know then that they've lived a false life in a false persona, and they didn't really have their authenticity working. A persona is a lesson in authenticity. Okay, whenever we're involved in one form of persona or another, all these different categories, we're not being authentic. So it's a falseness, and it's a very real, very large component of this 3D reality. This idea of a persona, a false persona. Okay, we'll be touching on it as we go along more, because it is such a big part of this, and we must begin to release all sense of personas, all sense of all these factors that we become in contact with and then begin to express. We must dissolve all those so we can get to our more authentic, lasting, nourishing, wonderful self. And when we do get to our deathbed, we'll be able to look back and say, you know, I came to a point, I started off false, but I worked my way into an authentic mentality, and that was one of my greatest achievements in life. And it is true. The extent that you remain a false, egoic self, separated self, until the day you die, you remain a failure. Oh, gee, how can you say that, Jeff? That's me. And I have $2 million in the bank. I have $3 million. I wrote 5 books that were some bestsellers. If you remain a false self persona in an ego mind, in that separated consciousness area that plays all these games that I'm just explaining to you, you remain a failure in life. Okay, because you've missed the most important thing. The most important thing isn't bouncing around the three-dimensional reality. The most important thing is getting to your divine nature and being able to see the divinity and the much larger picture. And here we go. Okay, then here is my next message to humanity. Okay, the third dimensional reality, the reality we see and all its forms right before our eyes, is a very, very tiny slice of what is really going on around us. And to the extent we stay wholly absorbed in, wholly hypnotized by, and addicted to this third dimensional reality, we stay in a lower vibration. Okay, and that separates us from the larger story, the larger life, the larger consciousness, and the larger cosmic picture of what is really going on around us. Okay, we stay separated with that. And that's the point of life, is to get more acquainted with the divine story that is all around this very small three-dimensional slice of life, who most of us think it's the whole thing, and we become wholly absorbed in it. Okay, it's a shame to waste your life in this small slice, very, very small slice of life, this third dimensional reality that's around us right now, because the picture is just so much bigger than that. And it's when we think of, well, before I get to that, it is when we think of cults, okay, we hear of in this reality we're all attached to, addicted to, hypnotized by. We think of a cult. Oh shit, they're a cult. That's what they're a cult. We should probably take a look at some of those as a society and make sure they're on the up and up. But the biggest cult of all is this. It's all of us being addicted to, absorbed by, and hypnotized by this 3D reality. Okay, that's the biggest cult of all. in Ananda, one of offshoots of Yogananda's institutions. Some governmental organization came by one time. They were feeling out all these new religious organizations to see which one of them were cults, you know, and they would ask them individual questions, and they would kind of try to determine if they were a cult, which is such a joke. And in Ananda, things weren't very centralized, so everybody was giving a different answer to some of these inquiries that this organization was making, and they decided, well, gee, one of the funny joke was, they go, when they left, they go, you guys can't be a cult. Well, you guys are telling us all different stuff, so you guys aren't a cult, which is kind of both good and bad, but they were a loose organization, and they didn't have that, top-down hierarchy thing. They had, they allowed interplay between people's opinions and what they think was going on, and so on and so forth. But the biggest cult of all is us. In the normal lifestyle that most of us lead is nothing but a huge cult. And if the cult is proper, like Ananda was, and especially led by a God-related being, they are the ones that are trying to lead us out of the biggest cult of all, okay, into the greater understanding of what I'm trying to tell you, that this, to be absorbed in this small little slice of 3D life, is nothing but a cult. We assure one another with all these different ways that we're all living a life, a real life, but we are all lost in the cult, in the largest cult there is, okay, of the normal populace living out this normal 3D life that is unnatural. Okay, it's not natural, and we're totally involved in it, and it is nothing but a lower vibrational hypnotization on this reality that we're all confronted with, and we all must grow beyond. That's the secret of life. We must grow beyond being absorbed in this cult of this 3D reality with all its infusions of commercialism and competitiveness and sports and entertainments and all of these things grasping at us all the time to keep us involved in the cult, keep us there, held prisoner in the cult, constantly reassuring us that what we think is real is actually real when it's not real at all. Okay? That's what I am telling you lately. This whole world, as I read the page, which is so much celebrity BS, it's almost unbelievable. On the front page of the computer, I don't get a paper anymore. That was one of my things I used to do, but it's good that it's gone. We're not burning the paper up, basically, so that's good. But as I read that, or any of the competitors, the Olympics came and went, and I watched some of the Olympics. I swimmer, I was a swimmer, water polo player, so hard for me not to watch the swimming. Exciting, beautiful strokes. Those kids, in those races, some really intense. I had a good time. I'm not going to lie to you. But the Olympics themselves wasn't quite what it used to be for me. I didn't watch a lot of it. I watched the main parts of it, but it didn't have the same feeling that it used to have for me. I always thought the Olympics were one of the cleanest, most best things humankind had to offer. We all got together as an international community and all had a moment, 2-week moment of celebration and fun in competing and challenges and all the stories and backstories that are involved. I always thought that was one of the finest things humankind has done. Now I think a little bit differently about it. And it was fun to watch, but I didn't watch it like I used to watch it. I don't care that America wins all the gold. I used to, mainly because it was against Russia, Soviet Union, way back when during and I always wanted to beat them, with more, because to prove that we were better, whatever it is, it was, it's just not quite the same as it used to be, and that's very, very good for me. I've worked my way through that a little bit more, and have more important things going right now, which is developing that inner flame of mine, developing that inner life of mine, developing the inner connection to the larger forces in this universe, to allow these forces to be intermingle with them, to come to me, to work through me, to accept their help, to accept their guidance and their advice. We all have guides, spirit guides, guardian angels, guardian protector angels, angels generally speaking, anybody we can call to us to help us get to more than we are in this limited ego 3D separated consciousness, playing all these silly games that they play. Even in the universities, they play all these stupid games, and they really aren't that much farther along than we are, although they do have intellectual involvement, but that is a double-edged sword. We've explained that before. But they're going to stay right here in the 3D world, being intellectuals, and not really take on the advancement that we all have to take on as we move into the fifth dimension. The road to the fifth dimension is the road of beingness. It isn't the road of doingness. Okay? So let's all just keep that in mind. That is another part of my message then, is that this 3D world is a small, small slice of what's really going on, and we have to grow beyond it. And that'll be one of our greatest achievements as we get to our deathbed and we look back on our lives. It's not going to be the money we have in the bank. It's not going to be our achievements and accomplishments, the books we wrote, or I've got 3 gold medals, or I had the most wins, and blah, blah, blah. None of that's going to matter. It's, did we do what we are mainly tasked to do here, especially at this most important time of this great ascension? Did we get out of our small minds and develop into the larger mind around us and express this larger mind to those people that we come across in daily life? Were we a light to them? Were we a light to humanity as we expressed the divinity that we've come to know and become familiar with and associated with, and all those types of wonderful things. We become just the word is escaping me right now, but become very, very connected to and expressing these divine new realities, bigger picture that's way bigger than this small hardcore 3D reality that's so unsatisfying in all its forms. So let's hold it right there. It's looking good. So that's then my fourth leg of my message to humanity, is that we got to get our heads out of this 3D illusion into the bigger picture, what's really going on. Ouspensky, Gurdjieff Ouspensky, explained it like this: if we were two-dimensional beings living on a plane, and someone was dropping a spiral, a spiral screw up and down of that plane, we as two-dimensional beings would see a point going around in a circle right in front of us. Okay, we'd go look at that point going around the circle. We wouldn't see that it is a spring being dropped through a plane. That would be the larger reality. Okay, but we wouldn't be privy to that. We would only see the point going around in a circle. That's what's the three-dimensional reality as compared to the greater reality that we have waiting for us. Okay, we're only seeing the point go around in a circle, absent the greater picture of a more satisfying picture where we become more grander people because we see the bigger picture, not just the point going around in a circle. You got that? My name is Jeff Africa, citizen of Earth, loyal patriot of the United States of America, and I stand unafraid. This is going to be important coming up. I stand unafraid. And these four, Yogananda, Jeshua, Mother Earth, Divine Mother, I've asked them to help me get to this new place, this new reality, this heart center, and make my life come alive with the most wonderful words you can think of. Make these words come alive and create a brand new life with this ever-present eternal now moment, expressing as love and authenticity and tenderness and humility and wonder and magic and mystery. Express this and be aware of this in this daily life, and to become, to make my life go from a dead life into a living life. Okay? And that's what this is all about. And I appreciate you listening. Thanks so much. We'll do this again soon. And we're going to hold it right there. All right.